right, so I'm Julie. I'm also from Lumi. I've actually been working in the market research space for the past several years, applying some of our technology to consumer insights. So I'm going to be talking about some of the parallels between the two industries today, really with a focus on insight capture. Okay, so this slide is sort of as a focus on the consumer insight aspect of things, but there's some very natural extensions into capturing audience insight or meeting insights. Lumi Survey is a tool that we can use to capture data, whether it's online or offline. So it's a native application. You don't need to have constant connectivity. So it's something that you can do regardless of time or location. You can even be collecting data from people on the subway or on an airplane. So it's a very natural extension of how people are already using their mobile devices. Another, I'd say, key feature in terms of the technology and using mobile, because we're also constantly connected, is this real-time engagement, on-the-go kind of data capture. So these are all things to keep in mind as we go through the session today. So to touch on some of the similarities, again, as I said, my focus has been market research. But there are a lot of very natural parallels and connections here. So whether you're harnessing consumer insights or audience insights, it can all be done in a very similar way. This also allows for real-time feedback using this kind of technology, and it's extremely accessible, as most of us carry it around in our pocket or our purse. One other thing to point out, and what's already loaded into the survey, is actually a little video case study. You don't have to watch it now, but if you want to at some point, I think it's a nice visual of how you can use mobile technology to really capture real-time perception. So as somebody's making a decision, the case study highlights the difference between relying on your memory, so recording something that you've previously done, versus capturing data in the moment in real time as that strategic decision is actually being made. So this is one of my favorite slides just in terms of fun facts around mobile. So it really highlights how constantly connected we truly are to our mobile device. 204 million emails sent, 100,000 tweets, and 6 million views, just to name a few. But I think most of us would say that we probably sleep with our mobile device just an arm's length away. And I recently read somewhere that in 2012, over 19% of us dropped our mobile device in the toilet. So it's a pretty personal device one time, yeah. I won't make all of you raise your hands to say who has done that. But so anyway, we are constantly connected. It's a device that really, for many of us, is an extension of our hand. So when it comes to crowdsourcing and capturing insights, whether it's from a small meeting with a team of 5, say 3 of whom are in New York and 2 of whom are in London, or if it's a large gathering of several hundred people, using the wisdom of the crowd, as there's this great book that I would recommend reading at some point if you haven't heard of it already, that really focuses on the benefit, the wisdom of the crowd, and the power of the crowd to make a strategic decision. So when it comes to your own audience and your own meeting, presumably this really is your most relevant source of information. Presumably you have a team of people that can really offer their own insights, and by giving them different tools to communicate in a natural setting, it really can enhance the entire just functionality and engagement of a meeting. And these are a few points that I think resonate with this kind of data capture. So when it comes to your typical meeting, these are the 4 points that we see as really being most relevant or most important to a dynamic meeting that can really enhance the meeting process. So we see diversity of opinion, where each person should have their own information or interpretation. We see independence, where individual opinions should not be determined by the opinions of those around them. So it's important to give each individual their own unique voice. Decentralization, people should have specialized and localized knowledge. So presumably a team that comes together, everybody has their own background, their own thought process, but can work together in a unified way. And then finally, aggregation, so having a mechanism for turning private judgments into a collective decision. So that's what a lot of this technology should hopefully resonate with you today. So the next couple of slides are around the data that we collected leading up to the workshop. So this is just a little Wordle that I put together, asking people what's the one word that you think of around interactive technology for a meeting or an event. So some of the big ones that stand out here, we have engagement, interaction, technology, contribution, mobile, results, seamless. And then there is up at the top, somebody said hassle. So hopefully this is something that we can try to prevent or help ease the use of technology in this kind of space. And then we also asked you to prioritize, if any of you, the survey is still available in the NYC workshop login that's preloaded on there. So you can feel free to jump through those if you like at some point. But all of these points were important with actionable insight, knowledge retention, and then sort of a tie between audience engagement and content dissemination. Another thing I think that we'll probably touch on in more detail later is this anonymous feedback point. Having things like join in or sort of Twitter feed, it gives people, maybe they're more likely to voice their opinion if they don't have to be called out by name or speak in front of a large group. And then finally, with the Lumi survey technology that we've been looking through, you really do have the potential to extend the life cycle of your meeting. So these are some images here also that we had asked people to submit previously. In this morning's session, one of the attendees was very excited to see her banana up in the top corner there. So this is just a nice a visual of asking people beforehand to give some thought into what we might be discussing today. And it's just an extension of the meeting, either beforehand or after the fact. So depending on what your focus is, this is a great way to engage with employees or participants of a meeting beforehand and afterwards. So again, this is really regardless of time or location. And that is it for me. I'm going to turn it over to Zach.